Ahoy there! Welcome. We're live in the Shitty Kitty kitchen, and it's a bit of an impromptu live. I haven't prepared anything, but we are making donut holes. It's been a big weekend with Dark Mofo, and you know that middle of the afternoon and you feel like a snack? I want a snack with flavour. Well, we're going to have a crack at donut holes today. I've put the ingredients in the description, but I was unable to find any version of this recipe online. I found thousands of donut hole recipes, well, maybe hundreds, but not this one. So, hi, Scout. If Sunny makes an appearance in the kitchen later, I will definitely move the camera so you can see her. How are you, gorgeous? It's a long weekend here in Australia. We get the Queen's birthday, although people are now calling it the King's birthday, but we're all sticking to it being the Queen's birthday. So, yeah, it's a long weekend and it's been absolutely delightful, but a lot of catching up with people, a lot of late nights, a lot of food, a little bit of alcohol. I've been pretty dusty. So let's give these air fryer donut holes a crack. Now, these particular donut holes don't have yeast. So, and I've never made them before, but let's have a crack. They're from this book, Air Fryer, 275 plus recipes to absolutely nail it. And although I haven't cooked mountains of things out of this book, I've cooked quite a few. Oh my God, look how good that cannoli looks. Love me some cannoli. We'll do that soon. But this is what we're making today. The little donut holes. Yeah, I'm great, gorgeous. It's been fun. Still got another week of Dark Mofo and lots of catching up with people. So, and later on today, when I finish making these, I've got to go and set up my spare bedroom for the next house guest. You love donuts and donut holes. Yeah, I have cravings for donuts out of everything possible. And these are just going to be little balls of dough and then rolled in cinnamon sugar. I mean, hello. Don't get me wrong. These days you can get, so many fancy donuts, like with different fillings and stuff. But I don't think you can really beat the traditional cinnamon one. But yeah, I'm not prepared at all. We're just going to be doing all of this on the fly. So probably won't need a huge bowl. First up, we're going to make the donuts. I'm excited too, because if these are, the beauty of air fryers is everything's so quick. So, when you're hankering for a snack, air fryers are so good for snack food. Now, I'm actually going to sift this flour in my new little retro sifter. Look at that. How cute is that? I got it from a gorgeous op shop down the road. It's in like perfect condition with that funky little pattern. I was watching someone making donut holes earlier and they sifted their flour, so I thought, good excuse to use my new sifter. I've got my grandmother's one, which I love, but this one's so cute. Oh, yeah, look, sometimes I think 12:44 in the morning is a great time to be eating donut holes. Isn't it gorgeous? So first up, we need a cup and a quarter, 1 1/4 cups of plain flour. But yeah, I thought I'd crack my little sifter. It was a deceased estate, and they had a whole heap of kitchen stuff, and it was all like orange themed. I could have bought the whole lot, but I didn't need it. But I couldn't say no to the sifter because it's just so flippin' cute. But I am going to use it for the first time. I don't think it'll make any difference, but just watching somebody else sifting their flour, I was like, I'm going to use my little sifter. It's 1 1/4 cup, so I'll just chuck in the other 1/4 cup. What about you, Scout? What have you been up to? What's the news? Tell me your latest. activities. So yeah, you don't need to sift the flour. I just wanted to sift my little heart away. It's now christened and it did a very good job. You've been doing yard work the past 2 days. Yeah, I've got mountains of yard work I'd love to be doing, but dark mofos on. I've caught up with friends of mine from Melbourne and an uncle and auntie from Canberra. And I've got my godson here he normally lives in Sydney. He's currently living in Melbourne, but he's here working at Dark Mofo. I've got another cousin arriving this week. Friends coming from all over the place. So, yeah, things like yard work are just being ignored for now. Next up, caster sugar. Which is this stuff, which you guys, I think, just call it fine sugar. It's the really fine white sugar. So we need 2 tablespoons of that. The reason I chose this recipe is because it won't take that long, I don't think, to make, but also it's like one of those typical air fryer. I think it's going to cook for 8 minutes. So your 2 tablespoons of caster sugar, and I'm going to keep that out because I'll be using that to make the cinnamon sugar as well. We want some baking powder. See, granulated sugar we call this is raw sugar, but it also gets called granulated because it's bigger granules. Whereas that other sugar is the super fine, but not. No, I know you don't call it icing sugar. You can call it confectioner's sugar, I think, the really powdery one. Wow, you've planted out a veggie garden and 3 rose bushes and mulch. You've been busy. That's a good workout. I'm back at the gym again, but I'm in the gym bit doing weights and stuff, and I'm feeling so much stronger. With my flipping knee, I'm finally allowed to go back to the gym, and there's lots of classes that I could be doing, but I'm like, no, I'll hang out in the gym for now. So we want 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, not baking soda. That's half. And 1/4. So these are 3/4. So you call the really fine sugar granulated. Interesting. And then we also want 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And from my little salt piggy, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to mix this all together. I don't drink very often anymore, and I had a hangover from the pits of hell yesterday. So just mix all those dry ingredients together. Next up, we're going to get some butter. And it has to be chilled. So I'm assuming just from the fridge is chilled. Doesn't need to be salted. Actually, I don't need the scales because these butter packets very kindly put the weights on them. We want 100 grams. Of butter. Knee's coming along really well, thanks, Scout. And the butter, we need to chop it up into small pieces. Yeah, no, it's doing really well. I mean, I've still got physio happening, but only every month. But each time we go, Jess, my physio, bumps up, the exercises. We've switched them up. I've come a long way from when I first heard it, and I used to do an exercise. It was literally sitting on the floor with a rolled up towel under my knee and just pushing my knee down onto it. Like that was the most my knee could handle. Whereas now I'm doing like full on lunges and all kinds of things. And I'm allowed to do bike classes again now, which is great because there's a bike class I can join, which we get to sort of adjust the resistance and how hard we go. But I'll be able to sort of experiment about whether I can do stand-up, sit-down riding and stuff. There are bikes in the actual gym where I am at the moment, but I really miss that class. Like, there's a really good group of people and, you know, we're regulars every week. We're sort of like a very social class. And, yeah, if I just sit up the back so I'm not kind of confusing everyone if I can't do the standing up parts. But I'd like to get back into doing that. But also I've got classes like Pilates, stretch. There's a type of yoga that's being added to our timetable called restorative yoga, and it's sort of a blend of yin, which I can do a little bit. I have to adjust that a bit for my knee. But also a little bit of meditation and stretching, and it's sort of adjustable class as well. And there's even the older gang, the older members of the group of the gym. There's classes called active living, and there's even a stretch one that I'm going to stretch and strength one I'm going to do with that too. Confectionery sugar is our powdered sugar. Our granulated sugar is like your. So what do you call the caster sugar? Fine sugar. I should be giving you measurements. So the flour, I said 1 1/4 cups or 150 grams. This is usually when I find links, it does have both types of measurements. So now we've got the butter in with the dry ingredients, and we're just going to start rubbing using our fingertips. I did wash my hands before I went live. I can hear my washing machine's on spin cycle, so that's going to end shortly, and it will beep if I don't get to run in there and switch the beeping off. But yeah, when I had my cooking website, Traces of Nuts, which got lost, and I'm now part of a class action against the server that I use, which was in America. I know it's been going for years. I'm not expecting any great compensation. I'm just bummed that I lost everything. But I always did conversions. You can't hear it. You'll hear it when the alarm goes off, or the beeping at the end. So I don't know how long this fine crumble goes, but we're just going to play with the butter. It's quite therapeutic. I was thinking, would these be something that, you know, if you get home, it's a bit cold, you just want a nice hot, toasty, yummy snack to have before bed or whatever. I don't know if you'd want to be standing in your kitchen doing this bit. But I'm just going to keep doing it till we get a crumble happening. My grandma used to do this. I wonder if that helps. But yeah, I'm not sure this bit would be ideal for like a quick snack. But you can prepare the dough in advance. So if you were out and about like a duck mofo and you're getting home late and you wanted a snack with flavour, if you already had the dough made, I suppose you could. Yeah, although my hands are, I'm sure I've got arthritis happening. There's something going on. So you'd say granulated sugar. Why can't we all just call it the same thing? Wouldn't that make life different? I mean, it's easier. I mean, even in Australia, between the states, we've got different names for different things, as you guys do too. You know, and some of those things have sort of evolved over time, and really want to push my left-hand sleeve up. I'm going to have to wash my hands and dry them off, and I don't want to get any water. It's the literal meaning. Dark mofo. The mofo means what you think it would mean. It's a curated event from Mona, the Museum of Old and New Art. And in summer they have Mona Foma, which is their summer festival, which is Mona, obviously, because it's the museum. But it's not all at the museum, but they're the curators of it. And Foma is Festival of Music and Art. And then the winter one is also a festival of music and art, but instead of calling it Dark Foma, they just decided to call it Dark Motherfucker. Oh, I updated it. It wasn't my photo. Everyone was telling me what a great photo I took, and I was like, oh, no, I don't have that sort of skill. No, I've now credited the photographer. I went back to the Mona Facebook page who posted it, and they hadn't actually credited the photographer, but they have now added a comment underneath, and the photographer is someone called Remy Chauvin. So I've updated it and put a credit. But it's pretty awesome. But that spectra, I can see it from my house, and I took a photo the other night just holding my camera. I need to actually set up a tripod. But what I'm going to do one day this week, and I'm not quite sure when, I'm actually going to go into town and to Spectra and stand under it and point up, because it's actually a heap of beams going up into the sky. This is coming along really well. Look at that, Scout. That's looking pretty crummy to me. I'm just going to keep going a tiny bit longer, because this is essentially a dough, because we're making donuts. I'm coming back on a bit later, I think, before I make dinner, but you'll be well and truly asleep. I'm trying to focus on recipes that I think are pretty affordable for families to do, just the way the economy is. Not just, I mean, everywhere in the world. There goes the beeping washing machine. I'll be back. But I reckon that's a pretty good crumb too. Tiny. Give me one sec. Dry off my hands. Yeah, so I really want to present lots of, yeah, I think it looks pretty good too. There's a few that are a bit bigger than other bits, but it's all just going to be yummy melted butter at the end of the day. I just stuck my hand in it again, so I've got to wash my hand. Wash my hand. Okay. Yeah, so I want to do lots of really affordable cooking using sort of staples that are affordable, like, you know, your flour and rice and pasta, and just come up with lots of different ways to essentially cook with staples. I'm trying to think of a really cute name. But I'm sort of stuck on like affordable food at the moment. But tonight I'm going to be doing a gnocchi, because I think gnocchi is a great pasta because it's pretty filling. And here you can buy pre-made gnocchi in little packets that aren't overly expensive, and they'll often have like 2 packets for $5, and 1 packet will feed a family. But tonight I'm doing one where you sort of marinate cherry tomatoes in a few different things, and you cook the gnocchi, and I'm going to pan fry it, and then you just mix it all through. Yeah, well, I mean, I could have used the KitchenAid, I guess, but yeah, it's good to do a bit of authentic home cooking, right? All right, let's keep going with these so we can get them in the air fryer. I'm a bit excited. Now we're going to add a quarter of a cup or 60 mils of milk. So you want the dough to come together a little bit. I'm on lactose-free milk. I'm not lactose intolerant, but I've found that I'm just much better on lactose. Well, I'm used to the flavour, I guess, now. This is going to be perfect timing for afternoon tea. So I'm going to mix this all through. So, yeah, the milk doesn't make it extra runny or anything, but it's just, I guess, a little bit of a binding ingredient. And now giving it a good mix, make sure it's all got a bit of milk on it. You can kind of see the dry from the no longer dry. And then we're just going to, oops, before I do that, I put my flour away, I didn't mean to. Now, I don't have one of those fancy pastry cutting fork things that people use on cooking shows. Just want to put a bit of flour on your board. They always say lightly floured, and I always put mountains because I have no concept of what lightly is. For me, lightly floured is a bit like folding the cheese on Schitt's Creek. Probably a tablespoon would have sufficed. And we're going to turn this out onto the board. Yeah, lactose intolerance, definitely. I mean, I can't genuinely say I am lactose intolerant like some of my friends are. But I've got a few lactose intolerant friends, so I started buying lactose-free milk. And then after a while, I wasn't using up my milk and their milk, so I just stuck with lactose intolerant milk, and that's what or lactose free. Well, this is so light and fluffy. We just want to knead it for about a minute, not too hard, until it forms a smooth dough ball. I think we've already formed a smooth dough ball. Look at that, guys. There's a few people watching, but they're not chatting. How easy was this? I'm going to get some of that flour out of the way. That's my dough ball. That happened very quickly. Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. All right. So we've got a little dough ball. And now we're going to cut it into equal portions and then roll each little individual one into a little ball. So I better keep washing my hands. God. I'm just going to use one of my grandma's old butter knives to cut it and cut it into equal portions. Let's just quarter it. You're meant to get about 12. I'm just going to do it this way. And then, I don't know, what are we going to do? It's pretty, what's the word? Rustic. They're roughly equal portions. I'm not going to be too precious. I mean, you want them to be roughly the same size so they all cook evenly. But once I start rolling them, we can pinch a bit of dough. Look at you. You're definitely making the donuts. You make your pie crust the same way. I can't believe how light and fluffy this is. If this is a sign of what's to come, these are going to be amazing. I'm just dipping them in a little bit of flour too. It makes it a bit easier for rolling them. They don't stick to my hand. This is fun. I'm going to make it, while they're cooking, I'm going to make a cup of tea to have with them too. And then, yeah, I'll be back later today, tonight, doing a gnocchi. It's a cherry tomato. It's a vegetarian sauce, but, I mean, it's just a sauce recipe. You can choose whatever pasta, but I thought, well, I'll do it with gnocchi because gnocchi, and it will be packet gnocchi. I'm not going to make it because I think it's actually a pain in the ass to make, and when you can buy it ready-made and you can get little baby gnocchi or full-size ones. And yeah, the cherry tomatoes just basically marinate in some vinegar and a few other bits and pieces, and then you just mix it all through. But what I'm going to do is actually pan fry the gnocchi afterwards because I love how it gets that crunchy bit on the outside. And I'm also going to add bacon. Because that's what I want to have for dinner. Hey, Del. Good to see you. Gorgeous. Check these out, man. These are about to go in the air fryer. Hey, speaking of, have you christened yours? Because I meant to tell you, there's little in the basket where the little metal plate is. It looks like it's black sticky tape. Don't remove that. When I first got it, I was like, is that meant to be on there? It is meant to be on there. You and Scout have met. Scout, you came to the worker assist chat, didn't you? Because it's Dell who I work with. Lovely Dell. But yeah, don't remove the black stuff that looks like sticky tape, because I think it holds it in place, or I don't know. But I remember thinking, you know, when you buy new things these days and everything's got tape and plastic, and friends of mine got a new phone one time and all their photos were really bad, and they hadn't taken the, the bit of tape off the lens. Oh, wow. You've lost count of how many times it's been used. Chris has been three boxes of mozzarella sticks. Oh, Scout remembers you, Delta. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, they're addictive. Once you've got one, it's like, how did I live without it, right? They're the best fun. And it makes you want to go out and source more air fryer things. This is the book that I got at Kmart for like $10. If you ever see that one, Del, honestly, it's got great recipes in it. I mean, I haven't cooked my way through it yet. I'm planning to do lots of air fryer stuff. Yeah, that's the book. And the other one I've got, which I don't use as much, but it is beautiful, is the Women's Weekly one. But this other one that I'm cooking from, it actually has a whole section of frozen stuff. So it gives you the right time and temperature and all the rest of it. I've got my donuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've made a few more than 12. So next up, my air fryer is over there. So it's like a little mini oven, and it has a basket. That's the basket. And then it's also got he's also cooked spring rolls and puffy dogs. So Chris is hooked. Awesome. We'll keep him busy. You don't ever have to make dinner ever again. It also comes with little shelves. So depending on how they fit, because you don't want them all together. But if you've got a basket air fryer, just do them in batches. And we're just going to get some baking paper. That was my keep cup jumping out of the cupboard. You need a new home. Go over on that shelf for now. It's been doing it for like the last 2 weeks. Do you think I've just grabbed it and moved it? No. Why would you do that? What do you guys call this, like baking paper, parchment paper? But apparently we need a bit of baking paper on each, from the basket. And hopefully the shelf, and I won't need to do a third shelf. I can, I've got 3 levels on here. And we're going to whack the baskets with the baking paper on them for some reason into the air fryer and heat it up. See how these are going to fit. Yeah, they'll fit. Okay, so we're whacking on the air fryer. We're going to do it at 180. For 3 minutes. I mean, that's what I normally do for heating up. Recipes don't usually say parchment paper. No, I didn't spray the basket. Nope, just lined it with the greaseproof paper or the baking paper. I love that Chris is getting into the air frying. That makes it so easy too. Feeding the little one. I want to know what puffy dogs are now. Puffy dogs. I can cook both at the same time. Yeah, this little air fryer is like a little mini oven. So it's got 3 places where you can slot shelves in. Is that what you're asking? There's actually 3 levels. So this air fryer's got quite a few different features, including you can dehydrate fruit and make stuff like this in it. I mean, you can do it in any air fryer. Oh, actually, I don't know, but dehydrating like different fruits, oranges for like your Negronis and cocktails and stuff like that. Oh my God, no. I was really weirded out that they said put the paper in too. That's not cool. We'll continue with I was really curious. What happened though was the one on the bottom was fine, but this one actually flew up and was on the element. So these donuts might have a tiny smoky flavour. I smelled it pretty quickly. I really don't mind if the baskets cool down a tiny bit. You've done that, have you? Oh, good, it's not just me. I was thinking it seemed a bit weird. It's like, why would you have to put the racks in with the paper? Hey, Scott. It was quite pretty, though. I quite liked the pattern on that paper. I'm going to move this along here. I must have paused it. It's all happening. I'm so looking forward to this, though. With a cup of tea, it's going to be divine. But yeah, so mine does have a dehydrator. The only thing it doesn't have was there were the same or similar models to that one that could also be a microwave. And I kind of was like, well, I think it was like another $200 on the price tag, but I've never had a microwave. So I've been able to cook my whole life without one. I think all my friends that had children have microwaves, but abstract smoky donuts, exactly. I might make the cinnamon sugar too. So while we're here, cinnamon sugar. We want half a cup of sugar. I never get the preheating of air fryers because I'm sure as soon as you open the door, it all comes out. But they always say preheat them. I'm like, all right. So there's half a cup of sugar and then 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. I'm just happy with how light and fluffy that dough is. Yeah, air fryer. I think air fryers are fun. So yeah, 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. That looks like half. Close enough. Let's mix that together. In my gorgeous little Pyrex bowl. Where's Deb Tuttle? Whenever I say Pyrex bowl, she normally arrives. And let's get out the first air fry basket. Shut that door to keep it warm. So now we're going to line it with the baking paper. And it didn't smell of anything burning. There's no paper left in there. I thought I'd better just check. And we're just going to roll. We're going to roll our little dough balls with the cinnamon sugar before they go on the tray. It's not. I'm going to actually press it in a bit more because it's not really sticking. I suppose they'll get darker when they cook, right? But yeah, you don't want to crowd your basket, guys. Keep your little donut holes. Give them good space. Don't overcrowd. If you've got a second rack or whatever like I do, bring it on. That's awesome, Del. Good, Chris. Good lad. Good lad. That's what we like to hear. Yeah, slow cookers are brilliant too. I love putting a slow cooker on in the morning before work when I can remember. Or, you know, preparing everything the night before and then just switching it on. And then when you get home, it's good to go. What a great idea. All right. One tray of donut holes. They look good. If they're as fluffy as they feel at the moment, they're so fluffy it's ridiculous. Get the other little one. That was too narrow. I'm being a brute. Yeah, it says roll it in before you fry them. So, because I think someone just rode past with a bike that needs, the brakes need oiling. Just did that squeal, you know. Yeah, I thought they'd get rolled in the sugar at the end, but no. It's not really sticking to the dough. I mean, it's definitely, they've changed colour, but they look pretty coated. And you've got cinnamon sugar at the end too. If you want to bounce them around afterwards, I guess you could do a second round. Why not? But yeah, slow cookers are great. Air fryers are fun. There's not a huge saving with electricity with between an air fryer and an oven, interestingly enough, because with an oven, you use the electricity to heat it up, and then the thermostat on the oven kicks in. And that just adjusts if necessary, like if you open the door. With an air fryer, it's constantly heating and the air then starts to, when it gets to that temperature, the air moves it around. But I just feel less guilty having, like if I'm heating up leftovers or something for dinner, if it's sitting in that little dude on the bench, I feel way less guilt about it than if it was, you know, like this little dish sitting in a massive oven. Fresh News 247, go back to Dark Mofo. I shall after I eat my donut holes, thank you. You go back to Dark Mofo. All right, so we're putting our donut holes in the air fryer. We're going 180. For 8 minutes. Let's see what happens. Very cheery. Go back to Dark Mofo. Fresh News 247. You heard the bike squeaking? Yeah, it was noisy. Hey, I'm going to chuck the kettle on. I'm going to make a cup of tea to have with my donut holes. Well, way to kill a chat, Fresh News 247. Everyone's gone silent since you're... You haven't been able to go. Are you not on the island of happiness and joy, or... So what are you doing doing stuff on your do you do stuff on your channel with a cool name like that? Oh, there'll be like, okay, I get what you're saying. Go back to, yeah, I will be Greta. I thought it was a get off YouTube and go back to Mofo. Don't Mofo. You Mofo. You've been banned from going to the Hobus. Don't you? What, the entire CBD? How do they monitor that? But yeah, I'm going to be going back. I've got I'm going to go and stand in the middle of Spectrum, like under the Spectra, underneath it, looking up and getting it going up into the sky, because that looks amazing. I'm going to take everyone for a walk around Dark Park. I didn't film when I was at Winterfeast because I was having too much fun eating, drinking, and being merry. After it's done, it's so cool that you can still roll into the sugar. I would have thought to add a tiny bit of melted butter to coat the donuts again. Yeah, a lot of the recipes mention melted butter, but I think because there's already butter in the dough, hopefully they'll get a little bit of an oily outside. So when you re-roll them, they'll get like coated more, maybe. I don't know. This is a first time, so it's all a bit of an experiment. If they see you, that'll probably get you in trouble. Well, I'll take you on a couple of lives and you can tap in. Yeah, we'll see what they're like when they come out of the air fryer. So they don't need to be turned or the basket needs to be shaken or anything. They've apparently just leave them there for 8 minutes. It says 8 minutes until puffed and golden. I don't know if they're puffing, but we'll see. But yeah, I'll be going for lots of walkies and stuff. Well, not lots, but I'll do a few. Sounds like Dell's getting a lot of air fryer action in the house. But one of the things I love about air fryers is they've always got air fryer cookbooks. Have always got recipes for things that you're craving, and then the ingredients are always things that you'd have in your house. Like, it's not a lot of the stuff you wouldn't need to actually. I mean, the homemade canola you need to have ricotta, which weirdly I do, but I'll get home from work and I'm like, oh, just chuck something in the air fryer. Like even a tray of different roasting veggies, you can buy them already cut up in a bag, mixed veggies, and to do something like that and then just make a really yummy dressing, like with tahini and a bit of yogurt and lemon juice or something. And if you want to cook some protein, you can, but even just the veggies. But there's all these little sort of egg and bacon and tomato-y things you can make, and everything that's sort of made from scratch because the cooking time is so quick. Yeah, it's something I really do enjoy. You probably eat the whole batch. Well, look, I do want to save some room for dinner, but I've got my cup of tea ready, so who knows. Cheers, everybody. Actually, they have kind of puffed. I mean, they're bigger than they were. The ones on the top, I might actually swap them around too. Because the ones up on the top layer always get. Look, they almost look ready, if you ask me. They're pretty dark. They look like little, what's the word? Like cream puffs. Just making sure that's not going to end up on the element. No, we're fine. I'll probably just chuck my hair in. Oh, actually, I'll pop these down the bottom. So yeah, that's one thing to bear in mind is, yeah, like little cream puffs. With this air fryer, if you're just using one shelf, they always say to use the shelf closest to the element because obviously it's the hottest, it's at the top. But I have, as I learn how to use this, I do keep an eye on it because, yeah, the top shelf definitely gets a good workout. I've got 1 minute to go, but I reckon they're pretty close and they felt very fluffy, even though they've got a sort of golden, slightly crunchy looking exterior. The inside bit felt really squishy and doughy and lush. I think we've got a winner, and I'm definitely going to roll them again. They're cream puffs. That's something my grandma used to make. They were so delicate. My mum was more of the more rustic, solid, you know, the scones and muffins. Well, she didn't really make a lot of muffins. I'm more of the muffin girl, but, you know, like the more sort of hearty stuff that didn't have to be perfect. But one of my grandmothers was really good at all the little dainty pastries. All right. So we do have varying degrees of goldenness. I'm going to get my little tongs. Put a bit of light on them. So these were the top baskets. So they are a little bit more goldeny. They look burnt if I get them too close to the camera, but they're not. They're pretty cute. And they're very squidgy. Like they're still nice and light and fluffy. And then with a little bit more of a coating. Oh, yes, baby. I was only going to do a couple and try one, but I think I'll do them all while they're hot. Because the butter, it's sticking, man. It's sticking. Oh, these look incredible. Bring it on. Yes, just fell out of that one, but that's all right. They're only going in my face hole. These were fun to make. The dough was really light and fluffy and easy to make. They smell like donuts. Well, donut holes. They look like donut holes. They've definitely grown in size. And if there's any left over, I'll take them into the office tomorrow. The bottom shelf ones are a little bit doughier. I'll be giving a rating out of 10. Will they be black book worthy? We'll have to see. That is the test in this kitchen, if they are deemed to be black book worthy, which is my little black moleskin recipe notebook. If they're good enough to go in there. They do look delicious. They smell incredible too. I'll probably burn the absolute crap out of my mouth when I eat one too. Well, that one just completely. All right, the ones on the bottom shelf are definitely squishier. But I don't mind taste testing with the munted looking ones. There's a few. How fun though! Like if someone comes over, you just sit in the kitchen. So I've got benches, 2 stools on the other side of my bench. So when people come over, I'm like, just sit over there and chat to me while I make us something. I'd make these. Pretty easy. That one's so. This is the most tragic donut hole I've ever seen in my life. But you can see how yummy, squishy, doughy they are in the middle. In fact, for the purposes of plating up, if I was on MasterChef, I wouldn't plate up the special ones. Okay. Here's the finished result, guys. How good do they look? If you want, you can hold off until I get there to join you. It's only a 15-hour trip, 15 plus. Worth it to see you, Sunny Bum, and the donut. The donut holes, look how good they look. Hey, Fitness Frank, no. This recipe didn't require yeast, which is one of the reasons why I chose to do it. I'm going to do a taste test, but I'm going to do a taste test eating one of the munted ones. Oh. They're perfect. In fact, you know, sometimes you buy, I can't stop eating them. These are so good. They're Black Book, by the way, 100%. Oh, I just got a little pop of salt in that paste too, like firing up against the cinnamon sugar. That was really yummy. I'm going to try and show you guys the middle bits. It's like super doughy and moist. You know when you get donuts sometimes and it's like they've cooked them fresh hours ago and then the dough has sort of got a little bit rubbery. These are so light and fluffy. Hey, Cement Shoes. Hey, Joman. Oh, my God. Guys, you are a bit late. I'm going to be ending this. I want to eat the whole. Oh, there's no way I could eat the whole plate. They're not rich, but yeah. So flipping good. The perfect time to pop in. The dough in the middle is really light and fluffy and moist. Oh my God, it is so yummy. These are on a par with some of the best donuts I've eaten in my life. In fact, because they're so fresh too, they've literally just come out of the air fryer. I don't know whether they're going to harden as they cool down, but these are the bomb, guys. Seriously. Like I said, I didn't have time to type up the recipe before I went live, but all the ingredients are there. I don't think anyone's going to want to watch or cook along. Well, yeah, cook along 54 minutes. It probably realistically is something that you could have made and cooked within half an hour. But these are absolute porn. And there's no yeast in them. And we did them in the air fryer. And they're more golden to the naked eye than the lighting in this kitchen shows. And then the middle of them is just, I'm just going to have a second one just to make sure they're not poisonous. I want to see if the dough is really fluffy and light inside one of the more browned ones from the top shelf. Yep. I cannot tell you how moist they are. Oh my God. I've had this recipe book in my house for a year and I've only just decided to make these. You idiot. They're amazing. Well, which is probably a good thing. They're amazing. Make them. Make them and eat them. Yep. The publisher is Herron, as in the little bird. But with 2 R's. There we go. Air fryer, 275 recipes to absolutely nail it. And I got this at Kmart Australia, which is very different to the now, I think, no more Kmart America. But I think I paid like $10 for it. I'm sure you could grab it online. That's a 10 out of 10. And I'm actually full from eating 2. So there could be a few coming into the office tomorrow if you're still out there. Actually, I'll just eat this last little one because it's small. I made a baby one to taste and I forgot about it. They are so good. Holy shitballs. So, yeah. Don't buy ready-made donuts. Make them at home if you've got an air fryer. They are amazing. I'm going to go. I've got to hang out some washing. Make up the spare room. And do a few more things. And, yeah, I'll be back tonight. I know a lot of you will be tucked up in bed. But I'm going to be making dinner a bit later on. I'm going to do pan-fried gnocchi because I just love the versatility of pan-fried gnocchi and all the things you can do with it. And tonight I'm actually going to be doing a sauce just using a punnet of cherry tomatoes. And you basically marinate the cherry tomatoes for about 15 minutes in a combo of stuff and then mix it through whatever pasta you want. But I'm using gnocchi. And for those of us out there who like a bit of bacon, I'm going to be chucking some of that in too. Oh, Samantha, you always ask me that, and it's got nothing to do with this cooking stuff. Where's my diary? I can't remember. Finn changes it every week. Oh. I haven't actually put it in my diary. I think it's Wednesday night again. But, yeah. I need to edit these cooking videos because there's always chat about another show that people don't even friggin' know about. Yeah, I can't remember, mate. It'll be mentioned at the end of the last episode. I think it's Wednesday night. I haven't put in my diary. I've actually got my godson staying with me, so he may very well feature next to me. And you'll give Finn heaps too. But anyway, guys, you have to check a big. I've already checked 2 big ones and the baby one. They're all really, really good. So, yeah, thoroughly recommend. If you've got an air fryer, there is no excuse not to try making these donut holes. That's fine, Samantha, but there should always be because I'm back in charge again. So I usually set the lives up early so you can hit the notification. But I'm actually going to have to go and watch the end of that episode too to have a look because I didn't put it in my diary. But, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Or if you're still celebrating the Queen, bless her, rest in peace, Queen. If you're still celebrating her birthday weekend, there's so many people calling today the King's birthday, but nope. In fact, I might just end with, this was something, my dad was a passionate constitutional monarchist, and this is, she doesn't actually wave. Oh, she's just started waving a little bit. This is a solar-powered queen, the late Queen, who does her little hand wave. But because there's no sunshine, So from me and the Queen, enjoy your donut holes. We'll see you all again very soon. Bye, Groovers.